Welcome to day 66 of reading every single day for the rest of my life for 30 minutes. Today we got the Fellowship of the Ring. We are at page 280. Let me get the clock started now. 30 minutes starting now. Let's go. Silence fell again. Frodo, even in that fair house, looking out upon a sunlit valley filled with the noise of clear waters, felt a dead darkness in his heart. Boromir stirred, and Frodo looked at him. He was fingering his great horn and frowning. At length he spoke. "I do not understand all this," he said. "Saruman is a traitor, but he did not have a glimpse of wisdom? Why do you speak ever of a hiding and destroying? Why should we not think that the great ring has come into our hands to serve us in the very hour of need? Wielding it, the free lord of the free may surely defeat the enemy. That is what he fears most, I deem. The men of Gondor are valiant, and they will never submit, but they may be beaten down. Valor needs first strength and then a weapon. Let the ring be your weapon. If it has such powers as you say, take it and go forth to victory." "Alas, no," said Elrond. We cannot use the ruling ring. That we now know too well. It belongs to Sauron, and it was made by him alone, and is altogether evil. Its strength, Boromir, is too great for anyone to wield at will, save only those who have already a great power of their own. But for them it holds an even deadlier peril. The very desire it corrupts the heart. Consider Saruman. If any of the wise should, with this ring, overthrow the Lord of Mordor using his own arts, he would then set himself on Sauron's throne, and yet another Dark Lord would appear. And that is another reason why the ring should be destroyed. As long as it is in the world, it will be a danger even to the wise, for nothing is evil in the beginning. Even Sauron was not so. I fear to take the ring to hide it. I will not take the ring to wield it." "Nor I," said Gandalf. Boromir looked at them doubtfully, but he bowed his head. "So be it," he said. "Then in Gondor we must trust to such weapons as we have, and at the least, while the wise ones guard this ring, we will fight on. Mayhap the sword that was broken may still stem the tide, if the hand that wields it has inherited not the heirloom only, but the sinews of the kings of men." "Who can tell?" said Aragorn. "But we will put it to the test one day." "May the day not be too long delayed," said Boromir, "for though I do not ask for aid, we need it. It would comfort us to know that others fought also. All that means that they have." "Then be comforted," said Elrond, "for there are powers in realms that you know not. They are hidden from you. Anduin in great flows past many shores, ere it comes to Ergonoth and the gates of Gondor. Still, it might be for all," said Glowin the dwarf. "If all these strengths were joined, the powers of each were used in league. Other rings there may be less treacherous, that might be used in our need. The seven are lost to us. If Balin is not found, the ring of Thorir, which was the last, naught has been heard of it since Thorir perished in Moria. Indeed, I may know several that it was partly in hope to find that ring that Balin went away." "Balin will find no ring in Moria," said Gandalf. "Thorir gave it to Tharion his son, but Tharion to Thorin. It was taken with torment from Tharion to the dungeons of Dol Guldur. I came too late." "Ah, alas!" cried Glorian. "When will the day come of our revenge? But still there are three. What of the three rings of the elves?" "Of the elves?" "Very mighty rings, it is said. Do not the elf lords keep them? Yet they were made by the Dark Lord long ago. Are they idle? I see elf lords here. Will they not say?" The elves returned to answer. "Did you not hear me, Glowin?" said Elrond. "The three were not made by Sauron, nor did he ever touch them. But of them it is not permitted to speak. So much only, in this hour of doubt I may now say, they are not idle. But they were not made as weapons of war or conquest. That is not their power. Those who made them did not desire strength or domination or hoarded wealth, but understanding, making, and healing, to preserve all things unstained. These things and elves of Middle-earth have in some measure gained, though in sorrow and with sorrow. But all that has been wrought by those who wield the three will turn in their undoing, and their minds and hearts will become revealed to Sauron. If he regains the one, it would be better if the three had never been. That is his purpose. But what then would happen if the ruling ring were destroyed as you counsel? Asked Glóin. We do not know for certain, answered Elrond sadly. Some hope that the three rings which Sauron had never touched would then become free, and the rulers might heal the hurts of the world that he has wrought. But maybe when the one has gone, the three will fail, and many fair things will fade and be forgotten. That is my belief. Yet all the elves are willing to endure this chance, said Glorfindel. If by it the power of Sauron may be broken and the fear of his domination be taken away forever. Thus we return once more to the destroying of the ring, said Erestor, and yet we come no nearer. What strength have we for the finding of the fire in which it was made? That is the path of despair, of folly, I would say, if the long wisdom of Elrond did not forbid me. Despair of folly, said Gandalf. It is not despair, for despair is only those who see the end beyond all doubt. We do not. It is wisdom to recognize necessity. With all the other courses we have been weighed, though as folly it may appear to those who cling to false hope. Well, let folly be our cloak, as vile before the eyes of the enemy, for he is very wise, and weighs all things to a necessity in the scale of his malice. But the only measure that he knows is desire for power, and so he judges all hearts. And to his heart, the thought that will enter that any refuse it, that having the ring we may seek to destroy it. If we seek this, we shall put him out of the reckoning. At least for a while, said Elrond. The road must be trod, but it will be very hard, and neither strength nor wisdom will carry us far upon it. This quest may be attempted by the weak as much as hope as the strong, yet such as oft the course of deeds that move the wheels of the world. Small hands do them because they must, while the eyes of the great are elsewhere. Very well, Master Elrond, said Bilbo suddenly. Say no more. It is plain enough that you are pointing at. Bilbo the silly hobbit started his affair, and Bilbo had better finish it, or himself. I was very comfortable here, and getting on with my book. If you want to know, I am just writing an ending for it. I thought of putting, and he lived happily ever afterwards at the end of the days. It is a good ending, and none of the worse have been used before. Now I shall have to alter that. It does not look like coming true, and anyway, there will evidently have to be several more chapters, if I live to write them. It is a frightful nuance. When ought I to start? Boromir looked in surprise at Bilbo, but the laughter died in his lips when he saw that all the others regarded the old hobbit with grave respect. Only Glóin smiled, but his smile came from old memories. Of course, my dear Bilbo, said Gandalf, if you really had started this affair, you might be expected to finish it. But you know well enough that starting is too great a claim for any, and that only a small part is played in great deeds by any hero. You need not bull through the word meant, and we do not doubt that under jest you are making a valiant offer. But one beyond your strength, Bilbo. You cannot take this thing back. It has passed on. If you need my advice any longer, I should say that your part is ended, unless as a recorder, finish your book and leave the ending unaltered. There is still hope for it, but get ready to write a sequel, then when they come back. Bilbo laughed. I have never known you for me pleasant advice before, he said. As all your unpleasant advice has been good, I wonder if this advice is not bad. Still, I don't suppose I have the strength or luck left to deal with the ring. It has grown, and I have not. But tell me, what do you mean by they? The messengers are sent with the ring. Exactly. And who are they to be? That seems to me that council has to decide, and all that it has to decide. Elves may thrive on speech time, and dwarves endure great weariness, but I am only an old hobbit, and I miss my meal at noon. Can you think of some names now, or put it off to till after dinner? No one answered. The noon bell rang. Still no one spoke. Frodo glanced at all the faces, and they were not turned to him. All the council sat with downcast eyes as if in deep thought. A great dread fell on them as if he was waiting the pronouncement of some doom that he had long foreseen and vainly hoped might, after all, never been spoken. An overwhelming longing to rest, to remain at peace by Bilbo's side in Rivendell filled all his heart. At last, with an effort, he spoke and wondered to hear his words, as if some other will be using his small voice. I will take the ring, he said, though I do not know the way. Elrond raised his eyes and looked at him, and Frodo felt his heart pierced by a sudden keenness of the glance. If I understand all right. If I understand aright, all that I have heard, he said, I think that this task is important for you, Frodo, and that if you do not find a way, no one will. This is the hour of the Shire folk, when they arise from their quiet fields to shake the towers in council of the great. Who of all the wise could have foreseen it? Or if they are wise, why should they expect to know it until the hour has struck? But if it is a heavy burden, so heavy that none could lay it on another, I do not lay it on you. But if you take it freely, I will say that your choice is right, and though it all the mighty elf friends of old, Harder and Huron and Turin and Baron himself were assembled together, your seat should be among them. But you won't send them off alone, surely, master, cried Sam, unable to contain himself any longer, and jumping from the corner where he had been quietly sitting on the floor. No, indeed, said Elrond, turning toward him with a smile. You at least shall go with him. It is hardly possible to separate you from him, even when he is summoned to a secret council and you are not. Sam sat down, blushing and muttering. A nice pickle we have landed ourselves in, Mr. Frodo, he said, shaking his head. Chapter 3 The Ring Goes South. Later that day the hobbits held a meeting of their own in Bilbo's room. Merry and Pippin were indignant when they heard that Sam had crept into the council and he had been chosen as Frodo's companion. It's most unfair, said Pippin. Pippin. And Pippin. I keep on saying Pippin. Pippin. Instead of throwing him out and clapping him in chains, Elrond goes and rewards him for his cheek. Reward, said Frodo. I can't imagine a more severe punishment. You are not thinking what you are saying. Condemned to go on this hopeless journey. A reward? Yesterday I dreamed that my task was done, and I could rest here a long while, perhaps for good. I don't wonder, said Merry, and I wish you could, but we are envying Sam, not you. If you have to go, then it will be a punishment for any of us to be left behind in Rivendell. We have come a long way with you and been through some stiff times. We want to go on. That's what I meant, said Pippin. We hobbits ought to stick together, and we will. I shall go unless they chain me up. There must be someone with intelligence in the party. Then you certainly will not be chosen, Peregrine Took, said Gandalf, looking in through the window which was near the ground. But you are all worrying yourselves unnecessarily. Nothing is decided yet. Nothing decided, cried Pippin. What were you all doing? You were shut up for hours. Talking, said Bilbo. There was a deal of talk, and everyone had an eye-opener, even old Gandalf. I think Legolas's bit of news about Gollum caught even him on the hop, though he passed it off. You were wrong, said Gandalf. You were inattentive. I had already heard it from Goher. If you want to know, the only real eye-openers, as you put it, were you and Frodo, and I was the only one that was not surprised. Well, anyway, said Bilbo, nothing was decided beyond choosing poor Frodo and Sam. I was afraid all the time that it might come to that if I was let off. But if you ask me, Elrond will set out a fair number when reports come in. Have they started yet, Gandalf? Yes, said the wizard. Some of the scouts have been sent out already. More will go tomorrow. Elrond is sending elves, and they will get in touch with the rangers, and maybe with Arundel's folk in Mirkwood. And Aragorn has gone with Elrond's sons. We shall have to scour the lands all round for many long leagues before any move is made. So cheer up, Frodo. You will probably make quite a long stay here. Ah, said Glam gloomingly. We just wait long enough for the winter to come. That can't be helped, said Bilbo. It's your fault partly. Frodo, my lad, insisting on waiting for my birthday. A funny way of honoring it, I can't help thinking. Not the day I should have chosen for letting the SBs into Bag End, but there it is. You can't wait now till spring, and you can't go till the reports come back. But that I am afraid will be just your luck. I am afraid it will, said Gandalf. We can't start until we have found out about the riders. I thought they were all destroyed in the flood, said Merry. You cannot destroy Ringwraiths like that, said Gandalf. The powers of their master is in them, and they stand or fall by him. We hope that they were all unhorsed and unmasked, and so made for a while less dangerous. We must find out for certain. In the meantime, you should try and forget your troubles, Frodo. I do not know if I can do anything to help you, but I will whisper this in your ears. Someone said that intelligence would be needed in the party. He was right. I think I should come with you. So great was Frodo's delight at this announcement that Gandalf left the window sill, where he had been sitting, and took off his hat and bowed. I only think I think I shall come. Do not count on anything yet. In this matter, Elrond will have so much to say, and your friend, the Strider. Which reminds me, I want to see Elrond. I must be off. How long do you think I shall have here? Said Frodo to Bilbo when Gandalf had gone. Oh, I don't know. I can't count days in Rivendell, said Bilbo. But quite long, I should think. We can have many a good talk. What about helping me with my book and making a start on the next? Have you thought of an ending? Yes, several, and we are all dark and unpleasant, said Frodo. Oh, that won't do, said Bilbo. Books ought to have good endings. How would this do? And they all settle down and live together happily ever after? It will do if it will come to that, said Frodo. Ah, said Sam, and where would they live? That's what I often wonder. For a while the hobbits continued to talk and think of the past, of the journey, of the perils they lay ahead. But such was the virtue of the land of Rivendell that soon all fear and anxiety was lifted from their minds. The future, good or ill, was not forgotten, but ceased to have any power over the present. Health and hope grew strong in them, and they were content with each good day as it came, taking pleasure in every meal and every word and song. So the day slipped away as each morning dawned bright and fair, and each evening followed cool and clear, but autumn was waning fast. Slowly the golden light faded to pale silver, and the lingering leaves fell from the naked trees. A wind began to blow chill from the misty mountains to the east. The hunter's moon waxed round in the night sky, and put to flight all the lesser stars. But low in the south one star shone red. Every night, as the moon waned again, it shone brighter and brighter. Frodo could see it from his window, deep in the heavens, burning like a watchful eye that glared above the trees on the brink of the valley. Damn. That was awesome, storytelling. The hobbits had been nearly 2 months in the house of Elrond, and November had gone by with the last shreds of autumn, and December was passing. When the scouts began to return, some had gone north beyond the springs of the Horwell into the Eddon Moors, and others had gone west, with the help of Aragorn and the rangers, and searched the lands far down the Grey Flood. As far as Therbad, where the Old North Road crossed the river by a ruined town. Many had gone east and south, and some of these had crossed the mountains and entered Mirkwood, while others had climbed the pass at the source of the Gladden River, and had come down into the Winterland and over the Gladen fields, and so at length had reached the old home in Ragadast at Glodesbel. Ragadast was not there, and they turned over the high pass that was called Dermriel Stair. The sons of Elrond, Elendad, and Elrohir were the last to return. They had made a great journey, passing down the Silver Lod into a strange country, but at their errand they would not speak to save to Elrond. In no region had the messengers discovered any signs of tidings of the riders or other servants of the enemy. Even the eagles of misty mountains had learned no fresh news. Nothing had been seen or heard of Gollum, but the wild wolves were still gathering and were hunting again upon the great river. 3 of the black horses had been found at once drowned in the flooded ford. On the rocks on the rapids below it, searchers discovered the bodies of 5 more and also a long black cloak, slashed and tattered. All of the black riders, no other trace was to be seen, and nowhere was their presence to be felt. It seemed that they had vanished from the north. 8 out of the 9 are accounted for at least, said Gandalf. It is rash to be sure, yet I think that we may hope now that ring-wraiths were scattered, and have been obliged to return as they could to their master in Mordor, empty and shapeless. If that is so, it will be some time before they can begin the hunt again. Of course, the enemy has other servants, but they will not have to journey all the way to the borders of Rivendell before they can pick up our trail. And if we are careful, that will be hard to find. But we must delay no longer. Elrond summoned the hobbits to him. He looked gravely at Frodo. The time has come, he said. If the ring is set out, it must go soon. But those who go with it must not count on their errand being aided by war or force. They must pass into the domain of the enemy far from aid. Do you still hold to your sword? Frodo, that you will be the ring-bearer? I do, said Frodo. I will go with Sam. Then I cannot help you much, not even with counsel, said Elrond. I can foresee very little of your road, and how your task is to be achieved I do not know. The shadow has kept now to the feet of the mountains, and draws nigh even to the borders of the Grey Flood. And under the shadow all is dark to me. You will meet many foes, some open, and some disguised, and yet you may find friends upon your way when you least look for it. I will send out messages, such I can contrive, to those whom I know in the wide world, but so perilous. Harry Potter, are the lands now become some that may miscarry, or come no quicker than yourself. And I will choose you companions to go with, as far will or fortune allows. The number must be few, since your hope is in speed and secrecy. Had I a host of elves in armor of the elder days, it would have availed no little, save to arouse the power of Mordor. The company of the ring shall be 9, and the 9 walkers shall be set against the 9 riders that are evil. Within you and your faithful servants Gandalf will go, for this shall be his great task, and may be the end of his labors. For the rest, they shall represent the other free peoples of the world, elves, dwarves, and men. Legolas shall be for the elves, and Gimli son of Gloin for the dwarves. They are willing to go at least to the passes of the mountains, and maybe beyond. For men, you shall have Oregon's son of Arathorn, for the ring of Elsador concerns him closely. Strider, cried Frodo. Yes, he said with a smile. I ask leave once again to your companion, Frodo. I will have begged you to come, said Frodo. Only I thought you were going to Minas Tirith with Boromir. I am, said Aragorn. And the sword that was broken shall be reforged ere I set out to war. But your road and our road lie together for many hundreds of miles. Therefore Boromir will also be in the company. He is a valiant man. There remain 2 more to be found, said Elrond. There I will consider of my household. I may find some that it seems good me to send. But that I will leave no place for us, cried Pippin to dismay. We don't want to be left behind. We want to go with Frodo. That is because you do not understand and cannot imagine what lies ahead, said Elrond. Neither does Frodo, said Gandalf, unexpectedly supporting Pippin. Nor do any of us see clearly. It is true that if these hobbits understood the danger, they would not dare to go, but they would still wish to go, or wish that they dared, and be ashamed and unhappy. I think, Elrond, that in this matter it would be well to trust rather to their friendship than to great wisdom. Even if you choose for us an elf lord such as Glorfindel, he cannot storm the Dark Tower, nor open the road to the fire by the power that is in him. You speak gravely, said Elrond, but I am in doubt. The Shire I forbode is not free now from peril, and these 2 I had thought to send back were as messengers. There as messengers do not what they could, according to the fashion of their country, to warn the people of their danger. In any case, I judge that the younger of these 2, Peregrine Took, should remain. My heart is against his going. Then, Master Elrond, you will have to lock me in prison or send me home tied in a sack, said Pippin, for otherwise I shall follow the company. Let it be so then. You shall go, said Elrond, and he sighed. Damn, that's not good. Now the tale of the nine is filled. In 7 days the company must depart. The sword of Elendil was forged anew by elvish smiths, and on its blade was traced a device of 7 stars set between the crescent moon and the rayed sun, and about them was written many runes. For Aragorn, son of Arathorn, was going war upon the marches of Mordor. Very bright was that sword when it was made whole again. The light of the sun shone redly in it, and the light of the moon shone cold, and its edge was hard and keen. And Aragorn gave it a new name and called it Anduril, Flame of the West. Aragorn and Gandalf walked together or sat speaking of their road and their perils they would meet, and they pondered the storied and figured maps and books of lore that were in the house of Elrond. Sometimes Frodo was with them, and he was content to lean on their guidance, and he spent as much time as he could with Bilbo. In those last days the hobbits sat together in the evening of the Hall of Fire, and there among many tales they heard told in full the lay of Beren and Luthien and the winning of the great jewel. But in the day, while Merry and Pippin were out and about, Frodo and Sam were to be found with Bilbo in a small room. Then Bilbo would read passages from his book, which still seemed very incomplete, or scraps of his verses, or would take notes of Frodo's adventures. On the moments of the last day, Frodo was alone with Bilbo, and the old hobbit pulled out from under his bed a wooden box. He lifted the lid and fumbled inside. "Here is your sword," he said, "but it was broken, you know. I took it to keep it safe, but I've forgotten to ask the smiths to mend it. No time now. So I thought perhaps you would care to have this. Don't you know? Don't you know? Have this, don't you know? 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 Don't you know?" He took from the box a small sword and an old shabby leather scabbard. Then he drew it, and a polished and well-tended blade glittered suddenly cold and bright. "This is Sting," he said, and thrust it with a little effort deep into a wooden beam. "Take it if you like. I shan't want it again, I expect." Frodo accepted it gratefully. "Also there is this," said Bilbo, bringing out a parcel which seemed to be rather heavy for its size. He unwound several folds of old cloth, and held up a small shirt of mail. It was close woven of many rings, as suppose almost as linen, cold as ice, and harder than steel. It shone like moonlit silver, and it was studded with white gems. With it was a belt of pearl and crystal. "It's a pretty thing, isn't it?" said Bilbo, moving it in the light. "And useful. It is my dwarf mail that Thorin gave me. I got it back in Mitchell Delving before I started and packed it with my luggage. I brought all the mementos of my journey away with me, except the ring. But I did not expect to use this. I do not need it now, except to look at sometimes. You hardly feel any weight when you put it on." "I don't think I should look right in it," said Frodo. "Just what I said myself," said Bilbo, "but I never mind about looks. You can wear it under your outer clothes. Come on. You must share the secret with me. Don't tell anybody else, but I should feel happier if I knew you were wearing it. I have a fancy it will turn even the knives of the Black Riders," he ended in a low voice. "Very well, I will take it," said Frodo. Bilbo put it on him and fastened Sting upon the glittering belt, and then Frodo put over his top old well-stained breeches, tunic, and jacket. "Just a plain hobbit you look," said Bilbo, "but there is more about you now appears on the surface. Good luck to you." He turned away and looked out of the window, trying to hum a tune. "I cannot thank you as I should, Bilbo, for this time, and for all your past kindnesses," said Frodo. "Don't try," said the old hobbit, turning around and slapping him on the back. "Ow!" he cried. "You are too hard now to slap, but there you are. Hobbits must stick together, and especially Baggineses. All I ask in return, take as much care of yourself as you can, and bring back all the news you can and any of the songs and tales you can come by. I'll do my best to finish my book before you return. I should like to write the second book if I am spared." He broke off and turned to the window again, singing softly. "I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies, and summer that have been. of yellow leaves in gossamer and autumns that there were, with morning mist and silver sun entwined upon my hair. I sit beside the fire and think of how the world will be when winter comes without a spring that I shall ever see. For still there is many things that I have never seen. In every wood and every spring there is a different green. I sit beside the fire and think of people long ago, and people who will see a world that I shall never know. But all the while I sit and think of times there were before, and listen for returning feet and voices at the door. Wow. That was 30 minutes of reading. Day 66. Let's go. Yeah. I'm at the middle of page 292. That was day 66. See y'all in day 67.